Hi everyone. At this point, you should have turned in homework 5.2 if you have not already, and I don't have it. Today we're going to talk about X and Y intercepts. You're going to have some practice with it on Castle Learning after this. So when you're done doing the notes, you should be going to Castle Learning and doing the assignments that say intercepts and slope. Those assignments are your homework. I am counting them as grades. So you want to take your time with those and not rush through them. You can use your notes on it. You can use your anything to help you on it. You can use this video, anything to help you on it. And there's also hints on there as well. All right, so let's jump into X and Y intercepts. So an X-intercept, first, we're going to talk about what an intercept is in a line. An intercept is where a line hits one of the axes. So an X-intercept is where the line crosses the X-axis. You already have a line drawn on your graph, but if I draw a line here, my X-intercept is right there, that point where right there, where the line crosses the X-axis. So we're going to talk about how to determine intercepts algebraically. And once we learn how to graph lines on our graphing calculator, I'll show you how to find them with the graphing calculator, but we're not like graphing yet. So determine an X-intercept algebraically. You first want to get rid of the Y. So we're going to substitute substitute 0 in for Y, and then you're going to solve for X. So for the X-intercept, get rid of the Y, solve for X. So determine the X-intercept of the equations below. So because it says the X-intercept, I want to get rid of the Y. So we're putting 0 in for Y, and we're solving for X. So to solve for X, I subtract 8 to both sides. So I get negative 8 equals negative 2X. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, and I get X equals 4. Now, as I said to you guys before, an intercept is a point where the line crosses the axes. So our point is 4, 0. Because we solved for the X was 4, and remember the X comes first in a point, and we put Y in for 0, so Y comes second, and we put 0 in for Y. So the point 4, 0 is where this line crosses the X-axis. Not too bad. It's super easy with the calculator, but I can't show you that yet because we don't know how to graph. So next one, determine the X-intercept of this equation. Well, it says X-intercept, so I want to get rid of my Y and solve for X. I'm going to rewrite my equation, getting rid of my Y. So putting 0 in for Y. Well, 5 times 0 is 0, so we get 4X plus 7 equals 0. And now solve for X. Most of these are going to be a two-step problem. So minus 7, I get 4X equals negative 7, divide by 4, divide by 4, and I get X equals negative 7 over 4, or let me pull out my calculator here. You can leave it as a decimal if you would like. So as a decimal, it's negative 1.75. So again, the intercept is a point where it crosses the line. So my X value that we just solved for is negative 1.75. And when I plug in 0 for Y, that's the X I get. So 0 for Y. And there are my 2 points. What I want you to do right now is to turn off the video, try C on your own, and when you think you have it, turn the video back on and type your answers in line. Okay, at this point you should have turned off the video, tried the problem on your own, and let's see if you get the same answer. So because we're solving for the x-intercept, we're putting 0 in for y. So we get negative 2x plus 3 times 0 equals 18. Well, 3 times 0 is 0, so negative 2x equals 18. Divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. X equals negative 9. But again, our intercepts are points. So this tells me that, let's change the color, the answer is negative 9, comma 0. And that's how to find an x-intercept algebraic. So I was going to do y-intercepts in a different way, but I think it's pretty easy that you guys could figure it out. To find the y-intercept, that's where the line crosses the y-axis. So again, I know you already have a line drawn on your graph here. But if I were to draw a line here, my y-intercept would be right here, where the line crosses the y-axis. So, to algebraically determine the y-intercept, let's get rid of the x. So, we're going to sub in 0 for x, and then solve for y. So basically, when you're trying to find the intercepts, you're getting rid of the letter that they don't want. So if I'm finding the y-intercept, let's keep the y. If I'm finding the x-intercept, let's keep the x. So this is just like what we did before. Find the y-intercept for the equations below. So if I want to find the y-intercept, I'm getting rid of the x. So here I have y equals 9 plus 8 times 0. Well, y equals 9 plus 0. Well, 9 plus 0 is 9. Again, your intercepts are points. They're not y. So when I put 0 in for x, my y value is 9. And there's my y-intercept. So if I were to graph this line, I would find that the line crosses the y-axis at the point 0, 9. So when we're together, you're going to turn off the video and try C on your own. So determine the y-intercept for this equation. Well, let's get rid of the x. So I'm going to substitute in 0 for x and solve for y. Well, negative 2 times 0 is 0. So 0 plus 3y equals 90. I don't really have to write the 0 there. So I have 3y equals 90 divided by 3 divided by 3. Y equals 30. So again, it's a point. So this is telling me that when I substituted in 0 for x, I got a y value of 30. And that line hits the y-axis at the point 0, 30. So then at this point, I want you to turn off the video and try C on your own. When you think you have C, turn the video back on and check your answers with mine. Okay, at this point, you guys should have turned off your video and try to see on your own. So let's check your answers with mine. It says to solve the y-intercept. So we're putting 0 in for x, and we're solving for, for y. Let me just see here for y. Well, negative 6 times 0 is 0, so we don't really have to write it. So we get 8 equals 4y. Now we're trying to get y by itself. So we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. And if it's easier for you, you could have flipped the equation and wrote 4y equals 8. Same thing. Divide by 4, divide by 4, and you get y equals 2. Now again, it's a point, so when I substituted in 0 for x, I got y was 2. And that's your y-intercept. So that's it for y-intercepts. Like I said, you have some practice on CASEL Learning to do. If you do not finish both CASEL Learning assignments, they are both homework. So you should be able to get at least one done in class today, and then your homework is to finish the other one. Please behave for the sub. I don't want to hear that anyone was misbehaving. And if you are on websites you should not be on while doing CASEL Learning, I did ask the sub to take your computer, give you a paper copy of the assignment, and there will be consequences when I come back. So please behave, do what you're supposed to do, and I will see everybody when I'm back.